everybody, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a two-parter. So today you're getting two videos. One, I watched a movie, and a games tier list. Not any games tier list, but a horror games tier list on the website tiermaker.com. Now we got a lot of good games here, so let's get into it. Sorry for that camera angle. Something happened over here, and so I had to come up with an alternative. It's super late at night, so that's why if anything I sound weird or whatever, or a little quieter than usual. Anyways, the first game we got, Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That's a no spook for me, and here's why. I mean, the first time I played it, I was literally shitting my pants. If you go to my old channel, you can actually find about an hour and a half of gameplay of this, and I quit because I got very scared. But now that I've gone back and faced it, it's not spooky at all, in my opinion. It's more just difficult to really find your way there. Amnesia Rebirth. I'll give that one a meh. That one actually did kind of scare me a little bit. It definitely took a curve for the best, if you ask me. I don't think that this game was better than Amnesia: The Dark Descent, but I still enjoy what we got out of it. I think that probably one of the more terrifying horror games that we got in the last decade, I'd say. Blair Witch. I mean, what the fuck is that? I played this game for about 20 minutes, and I thought that it was so bad that I literally couldn't play it anymore. I got bored because I just didn't like the story. I wasn't invested, and I got scared one time, but I didn't get scared, I guess you could say, so it really just wasn't anything to me. So yeah, that's that. I was pretty piss poor right there. Resident Evil, what is that, 3? Resident Evil 3? Might be 2. I don't know. I think it's 2. Might be 3 though. I don't know. No, it is 2. It's 2. Alright. It's the remake though. It was a little spooky. That was a little spooky game there. It was spooky because I just never had enough material, and I would be running around the room trying to find shit and hearing noises and having that one fucker chasing me around. Professor X or whatever his name is. He was sitting there chasing me around, and I'm just trying to look for stuff, and out of nowhere he just pop up right behind me and just figure my butthole for a little bit. And yeah, that was kind of intense. It was a little scary, but it wasn't like hella scary or anything. Resident Evil 5, in terms of scares, the fuck is this? It wasn't a scary game, it was just a game. It's more like they tried to expand on the action adventure part of the game series rather than the horror, and I just don't think that it paid off for any fear at all. So yeah, the fuck is this? This is fucking hella spooky. That game is hella spooky. I don't know if you guys have ever played Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, but it took me a while to beat it just because I was too fucking scared to just go back on it and play it. It was very scary, I'm not gonna lie. Next game, The Last of Us Part 2, I'm gonna put that in no spook. There was no spook in that game. There was a spook in there, but like, it's not it's not supposed to be a scary game, in my opinion. I think The Last of Us Part 1 was definitely scarier than The Last of Us Part 2. I just thought that The Last of Us Part 2 was more boring than The Last of Us 1. Yeah. Yeah, this is Resident Evil 3 right here, yeah. This one, meh. I mean, this one, you know, it's more trying to figure shit out than actually doing anything else other than that. It's, like, this one did it well, like, it was scary because you had that guy chasing you around and all that, but this one, it's just like, you know, it's just a guy with a rocket launcher, and, you know, he's easy to evade and stuff like that. He's not that hard to take down or whatever. Yeah, I'd say not that scary. Silent Hill. Looks like the movie cover, but that one's hella spooky. even to this day, I still get chills playing Silent Hill. Last time I played it was when the PS3 was still around, if I'm being honest, but, yeah, I didn't even get that far in it because I got too scared and just couldn't finish it. I will one day, though. Resident Evil 4, a little spooky. That one is a little spooky. That's when they started to go the action-adventure route, but, still had the horror to it, and, I just think those villagers were super scary and not a good time at all. They were, and like the atmosphere was just dark and it was scary. It was very scary. Alright, Resident Evil 6. The fuck is this? It's not scary at all. It's actually quite boring. There's like 6 different stories going on in Resident Evil 6. It's like 6 different stories going on in the game, and you have to beat all the stories to get all the deeds. You get all the deeds. Yeah, it's not a scary game. I don't even recommend people go back and play it. People that have played it, I feel sorry for. Definitely a letdown when it came out. It's probably one of the first Resident Evils I played, and probably why I didn't play most of the other ones. Except for the remakes, 7 and 8. And the Mia story when it comes out in October. So yeah. I believe this is Sister Location. All these games are scary as shit in my opinion. Like, you're sitting there, like, I don't know if that's the one in the house or whatnot, but you're like sitting there in the house and you're looking through the doors and in the closet and stuff like that, and you gotta go back to the bed every once in a while to keep the spookies away. Dude, this game, they're all just equally scary. Even the PlayStation 5 release was pretty intense to me. I gave up on it though because I got pissed off because of where the save locations were. If they would change that, I'd probably go back and beat it, but I just got too pissed off and didn't want to do it again, so yeah. Little Nightmares, a little spooky. It's a little spooky, like the atmosphere and stuff like that is definitely a scary thing, and I like these type of games, but I mean, this one was fucking wild. Like, this one was scary, and like, you're just sitting there running across the table, and then you see the butcher guy. He's just like chopping up something. I don't even remember what, but he's like chopping up something, and that shit was weird. Yeah. Little Nightmares is a little spooky. LSU? Hella spooky. I don't like it, but it is fucking scary. It's a very scary game. I was scared the first minute of me being in there, you know, like just loading into the game. Outlast does a good job of scaring the shit out of you about it. I think that it's a very spooky experience. Outlast Whistleblower, also hella spooky. I feel like all the Outlast games are hella spooky because Outlast Whistleblower, honestly, in my opinion, is the scariest one out of all 3. And I couldn't tell you why, but it is super scary, and yeah, it's like the scariest one. Phasmophobia, it's a little spooky. I've only played it a couple times though, so I couldn't really tell you exactly what I'm feeling on it. Phasmophobia is a multiplayer, it's a co-op horror experience. It can be scary, but sometimes it's just boring depending on who you're playing with. Yeah, that's the biggest problem with multiplayer horror. This one's Friday the 13th. This one's meh. I'll give it a meh status right there. Friday the 13th is not scary, but it does have its moments. It's another one of those co-op survival multiplayer games that really isn't supposed to be scary, I guess. But I will say though, what I should do is actually put this on a little spooky because that little Easter egg that you can do in the game to like unlock Jason X character, that shit was scary though. That shit was scary. The multiplayer aspect of it though, not that scary, but I think the little mission to get Jason X is why this deserves to be there. Mindy and the Ink Machine. What the fuck is this? That game didn't scare me at all. I remember being bored of it, honestly, and then I just put it away, deleted it off my console. I was like, hey, I'm never playing this shit again. Because I spent like $15 on it because everybody was like, yo, this is the scariest game of all time, and I was like, oh, okay, I gotta check this shit out. And it wasn't. It was a waste of money, is what it was. Alien Isolation is hella spooky. Another one of those games where I couldn't beat it. I just couldn't, because it was too fucking scary. And I remember selling it, or pawning it for money at one point, just so I could buy some movies. Yeah. Because I knew I was never going to go back and play it, but I wish I didn't because I always want to go back and play it now. It's a little sad, but thank God they put it on Xbox Game Pass because I was eventually able to beat it, and I was terrified the entire way through. Dead Space 2, that's also hella spooky. We go and put both of the Dead Spaces. I think I saw, yeah, Dead Space 1 and 2 can go there. If I see Dead Space 3 on here, which I don't, it would definitely go right here. Because it's not even a horror game, but yeah, no, these two games are iconic horror games that kind of broke the boundaries of what all these other games do. I love the Dead Space series, and if you guys ever want to see a video on it, like a little review, highly edited type beat on there, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll have fun doing it too. Doki Doki Literature Club. Meh. I think I watched this one. I don't even think I've actually played it, so it's a meh for now. But I do have it now, so that could change. And if it does, I'll let you know on Twitter or something like that. Stories Untold. The fuck is this? Because literally, what the fuck is this? I've never played that game in my life. We got Resident Evil 1. No Spook. It's too old. It's just too old of a game. It doesn't scare me. You know what? Actually, no. I'll put it in the meh category because it does have some scary moments still, and that just lets me know that this game, for a lot of older people, would go to hella spooky. Yeah. But no, this game is definitely probably a very good game, but not a very scary game, just because of how outdated it is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, so we'll just put that there. I don't know what this game is. I don't know what that thumbnail is for it. Oxenfree? Again, don't know what it is, but I would assume that it's not even a horror game. This is a horror game tier list, so Dead by Daylight is definitely a meh. I think it's got its moments, but it's not too bad in that category. It's like in the horror category. I wouldn't say it's the scariest like Dead Space, or I wouldn't even say it's as scary as Friday the 13th. But I would say that it still does have its scary moments. Little Nightmares 2. I didn't play this one, so just put it in the fuck is this category. I didn't play it. I just got it recently, so I probably will play it soon, but I'm also working on a highly edited video. I'll probably post a little thing on it on my Patreon sometime this week. Yeah, Little Nightmares 2 is not played by me yet, but keep on the lookout for that Patreon post. I'm doing a free first month for everybody, so that should be fun, just to kind of let you guys know what I'm doing on there. You know, just to give you guys the little keynotes of what you can expect. I'm already being lazy with it, so I might just scrap the whole idea. I don't know, man. I was just feeling really hyped up that day to just make one, so yeah, I did it. I made a video on it. BT, scary as shit. That game is hella spooky. That game is so spooky that for how short it was, like a 30-minute game, but for how short it was, it took me a couple of days to beat because I just got too scared to continue playing. Alright. Outlast. Outlast, again, the scariest franchise I've ever experienced. Every single one of these games are scary, and I guarantee you Outlast Trials isn't going to be any different from these games, from these last three. I guarantee you they're still going to be scary as shit. I guarantee you when I do an updated tier list, when I update this tier list, it'll go up here right next to it. Silent Hill 3. Didn't play this one. I didn't play Silent Hill 3 or, what is that? I don't think I played those two. I didn't play those. I think I skipped on them because they didn't come in with the HD collection that I got. Village. It's a little spooky. It's a spooky game. I'll give it what it deserves. It's nowhere near as spooky as Resident Evil 7, but it's still very scary, I would say. It's just not, it doesn't live up to Resident Evil in terms of fear factor. Silent Hill 4, The Room, no spook. It's not spooky. It's not a spooky game. It's actually quite boring. And I don't think I ever beat it because it was that boring. I think I just, usually when a game gets too boring for me, I just like watch walkthroughs of it. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. And then that's that. Yeah. Slender and the 8 Pages. A little spooky. Back then, in the olden days, I'd probably have it in hella spooky, but nowadays, it kind of just doesn't scare me anymore because, you know, it's outdated. An outdated game. But back then, if I was doing this tier list, it would go up here. Yeah. It's a little spooky still, though, I'll say. The Evil Within 2, meh. Yeah, it's a meh game. It's definitely not as scary as The Evil Within 1. I don't think I beat this one either. I think I got bored of it as well. But I did watch a walkthrough of it, and they weren't that scared either. So yeah. The Evil Within 1 though is an iconic game and was a little spooky. It was a little spooky. It wasn't. The trailer made it seem way scarier than what it ended up being, but it's still a very scary game, and I recommend people, if they want to get into this type of horror, The Evil Within is a great place to start. Like if you're a big fan of Resident Evil or whatever, The Evil Within is definitely a good place to start if you want to do a new series or something. Until Dawn, probably one of my favorite horror games of all time. But it's not that scary. It's more like a slasher horror, so it's like a choice-based game, and I like those. I really do. The Last of Us. Yeah, that's a mad game. It was scary, but it's not the scariest thing ever. It's good though. I like it. Yeah, that's gonna do it, ladies and gentlemen. I have completed the tier list. Yeah, I like it the way it is. I wasn't going off of like first is the scariest, last is the least scariest out of the tier. I was just going out of that. But if we were to say that, it would go Outlast, Dead Space, PT, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Freddy's Fazbear. And for this one, it would go probably Resident Evil, The Evil Within, Resident Evil, Little Nightmare, or Phasmophobia, Little Nightmares, Friday the 13th, and then Slender. Meh would go, probably Amnesia, Until Dawn, The Last of Us, Doki Doki Literature Club, Resident Evils, and then Dead by Daylight, and The Evil Within 2 would probably also go right after The Last of Us. And then No Spook, Amnesia, I actually like that one the way it is, to be honest. And then the fuck is this? That shouldn't really matter because most of those games I haven't even played. But yeah, that's gonna do it all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out. Where's that,